Quentin Grimes is unhappy with the New York Knicks, and because of that, it seems like the Knicks are going to be trading him. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video as we always do, because as you may have heard, Quentin Grimes is unhappy with the New York Knicks, and it seems like the Knicks are going to try to trade him. As it was reported by Stefan Bondi, Grimes is frustrated with the Knicks and his role, and the Knicks are actively trying to trade him. The Mavericks have interest, and there's also speculation that Tom Thibodeau is soured on Quentin Grimes for sitting out the last two games in the playoff series against the Cleveland Cavaliers because of a shoulder injury. Before anything, very quickly, when it comes down to that, with Tom Thibodeau being upset with him, just explain this. Explain why in a game when the Knicks were down 3-1 against the Miami Heat in the next round of the playoffs, Grimes played the entire game, hurt his knee on the final possession, still saved the Knicks season by getting a steal, but Tom Thibodeau does not like him. But now when you look at Grimes' minutes, now it feels like that's actually true. So it's really complicated. I don't know what Tibbs is thinking. I don't know why Tibbs has not cut Josh Hart's minutes and tried to play Grimes more. I don't know if it's because of the financial thing that Josh Hart's just getting paid so much more money, or if it's just because the Grimes is just not Tibbs' biggest fan or something. I'm not really sure. Grimes should be playing more. He's been playing better than Josh Hart, but for some reason, the guy who most represents OG Anunoby's game is not replacing OG Anunoby in lineups when he really should be, because when looking at it, it will give OG a break. OG should not be playing over 40 minutes per game in the middle of the NBA season. That doesn't make sense. Tibbs is going to burn him out if he does that. It's my biggest problem with Tibbs is that he overplays his guys. I understand once playoffs happen, it's a completely different ball game. But in the regular season, we have to chill with the minutes that we're playing OG, Brunson, and Randall. It's way too much. I understand right now the Knicks roster is a little weird because there's less shot creation without RJ or IQ. It doesn't matter. You need to figure something out. And it's going to have to be via trade. And now it feels like whatever trade happens, Grimes could very likely be involved. If you look here, according to Michael A. Scotto, the Knicks are dangling Quentin Grimes, Evan Fournier, and draft compensation for a potential upgrade, whether that's a guard who could sort of take over some Brunson minutes, which is really what it feels like it could most likely be. But also there's a chance the Knicks will be looking at other guys, such as power forwards to back up Randall, and just maybe add some more size to this lineup because Precious Achiuwa is not really getting it done. Mitch is apparently coming back, but it's not fully clear. What is clear is that Grimes isn't happy. Grimes is upset with his role. Rightfully so. The man was a starter last year. He started on the Knicks playoff team. He gets benched because basically Tibbs kept pulling him and Grimes couldn't get shots up. And now Grimes can't find his way back into the starting lineup. Now, given OG Anunoby belongs there, he's probably, without Mitch being here, the Knicks' third best player. And then DiVincenzo has been electric when it comes to shooting. The thing is, Grimes is still not really thrilled. He's playing the least amount of minutes of anyone in the Knicks rotation, despite the fact that Deuce McBride has been newly into the Knicks rotation. He's getting way more minutes than Quentin Grimes all of a sudden, and that doesn't really make much sense. It feels like Grimes is a better shot creator, and also it feels as if the Knicks are viewing Deuce McBride as more of an undersized combo guard, more of a two guard than a point guard. So if the Knicks are going to trade for a guard anyway, why are they not playing Grimes more minutes than McBride? Like, Grimes and McBride are very similar when it comes to defense, and Grimes is probably a better offensive player. I mean, he's a better shooter. He can create his own shot. He can drive to the paint. He's more confident. Grimes should be playing more. And also, neither of them are really a great playmaker, so it's not like that's a good reasoning. I don't understand what's with the lack of Quentin Grimes on the Knicks court, and I don't really like it, especially because it's the regular season. It's okay to play multiple guys on your bench over 20 minutes per night. Not just go with Josh Hart and Deuce McBride and then be like, nope, no more. That's the only two guys we're ever going to play over 20 minutes a night on the bench. It's the regular season. Who gives a shit? And I just cursed because I'm pissed at Tibbs. Look, here's the deal. Like, I don't understand what the problem is and why the Knicks can't just play some of their bench guys a little bit more. I understand that they don't have a lot of shot creation, that without Randall or Brunson on the court, especially Brunson, the Knicks offense stagnates. And you're going to need to make a trade to fix that. Do you have to give up Quentin Grimes? I don't think so. I think you could probably get someone using Evan Fournier's expiring deal alone. Especially because what the Knicks want is someone who's going to be under contract for the 24-25 season. So over the summer, they could use the tradable contract to make a trade for a star. The Knicks seem hell-bent on making a trade for a star within the next year from now. probably over the summer. Now, I know this happens every year. I know this comes up every season that the Knicks are probably going to trade for a star. And us as media companies, we jump on it because it gets us clicks or whatever. Here's the deal. It really feels like it's always been that Leon Rose is going to get a superstar to the Knicks who's already an established name. The current Knicks team that they have is the type of team that star players go to because they really do feel like they're one superstar away from getting over the hump and just being able to contend with any single team in the NBA. The Knicks are one of the best teams in the league. Let's be real. Let's really be honest right now. Outside of the 76ers, who are shady in the playoffs because of Embiid's health, the Bucks, who have no defense in their backcourt, and the Celtics, who are really reliant on that starting lineup staying healthy, there's not that much talent in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, the Pacers just got a lot better with Pascal Siakam. Are they going to go to the NBA Finals, or are they better than the Knicks? I don't really think so. I think it's close between the two teams, but they've never really been there outside of Siakam. Now that Bruce Brown's on the Raptors, it really doesn't feel like what's going to happen next is the Knicks are going to make some move or that the Pacers are going to make some huge jump up the lineup or up the standings, especially if the Knicks make some move for a star player, because then I'll just put them right over the Pacers once again. That doesn't really leave too many NBA teams. I mean, the Heat, maybe, but the Knicks are already really good as it is. If one superstar player who wants out is thinking, hey, I want to leave, the Knicks are a huge market. They could use a star like myself. Maybe I'll go to the New York Knicks. They have assets they could trade for me. They wouldn't gut their roster. Me, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, Dante DiVincenzo, OG Anunoby. That's a nice team. We could win a championship there. We could win a championship in New York. I'll become crazy famous and make a boatload of money. That is really what the Knicks have done, is make themselves an ideal market for a superstar player. The question is who that superstar is, and that's not going to be answered until the summer. We don't know who's going to want out because we don't know how the playoffs are going to play out, and that's what it's based off of. What we do know is that Grimes is severely unhappy. If you look here, on MLK Day, Deuce McBride committed a turnover, one that didn't appear to involve Quentin Grimes, and Tibbs reacted by summoning Julius Randle to replace Grimes. And clearly frustrated after just playing a 4-minute shift, Grimes ran past the Knicks bench and beelined into the Garden Tunnel. Replays showed Grimes returning around a minute later and sitting near the end of the bench, where he sat for the rest of the 98-94 loss, when he really should have been in the game because the Knicks desperately needed shooting. But nope, not what Tibbs did, because Tibbs don't care. He don't care. He's going to force the ball as an ISO to Julius Randle or Jalen Brunson every time at the end of a game, and that's just what we're going to live with. Is it going to work? Sometimes. Usually with Brunson, because Randle's not a great isolation player, especially when he's the first option on a team, because everyone knows they're going to try to have Randle force a basket anyway, so it's pretty easy to stop. Not like Tibbs is going to drop a play, though. That's not going to happen. He's also not going to let any of his assistant coaches drop a play. No, sir. Now, if we continue looking, as you saw, Grimes played 48 minutes. So is it true that Tibbs dislikes Grimes? I don't think so. I think Tibbs is just, he likes who he likes. He plays the starting lineup over everything else. And if Grimes is in that starting lineup, he'll have those 48-minute games. But the Knicks have been taking calls on him, and what Ian Bagley had to say is the Knicks are seeking another ball handler / playmaker to bolster their offense. They lost some playmaking when they moved quickly in Barrett to acquire OG. They're also looking at other positions, but ball handler, playmaker is their focus. And as I mentioned earlier, they're looking for players under 24, 25, partially because they can include that player in an off-season trade, but they're not solely focused on players under that contract. The club has at least one player on an expiring deal on its radar at the deadline. I will be so honest, I have no idea who the hell that is. I could not tell you at all. No clue. No clue. No clue who this mystery player is. We know they're looking at Brogdon. We know they're looking at Terry Rozier. I don't know who else they're looking at. DeJounte Murray's obviously not an expiring player and doesn't fall into that category because he's much better. I don't know who this guy is. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I do. And I am curious to why they'd be interested in him. It would almost certainly be a fit thing. And I'm not sure if it's an expiring deal. I should know this, and I don't. I know Bruce Brown signed that 2-year deal with the Pacers, but I think there's an option. I'm not sure if it's a player or a club option. but maybe it's him. I also don't really think so, but here is what this could mean. If they're looking at this expiring player, whoever it may be, they might dangle Josh Hart as trade bait next using that tradable contract. That is all I'm going to say on that, really, because that's all that we know. But they might be thinking, okay, if we trade Fournier for a different expiring contract who we can play and he can help us win games this season, we can always just move Josh Hart in the offseason. Will Jalen Brunson be upset? Yeah. Is he going to storm out and leave the New York Knicks because they traded Josh Hart to get better? Probably not. Brunson understands it's a business. His dad played in the NBA. He gets it. He'll be fine. That is really what I'm thinking there. Could be the answer to all of this. But also, if we just continue on, with the unlikelihood of a blockbuster deal materializing until the summer, the Knicks, according to teams negotiating with New York, are focused on acquiring a ball handler. McBride's viewed as more of an undersized two-guard and a big man because, among other reasons, Mitchell Robinson's future is kind of ambiguous because the injuries and you never know what could happen. He's not untouchable. And there's also a willingness to take on multi-year deals that could be packaged in a later blockbuster, as we know. And the Mavs have interest in Grimes. The Hawks, who are also positioned to be active before the trade deadline, would be a strong fit if they trade DeJounte Murray. There's no shortage of teams looking for a plug-and-play 3-and-D wing. Obviously, Quentin Grimes would fit real nice next to Trae Young and Jalen Johnson. So I think he would be the centerpiece of a DeJounte Murray trade. Obviously, it would cost first-rounders, also Evan Fournier's contract. It does kind of put into question, can the Knicks make another blockbuster trade? And that the answer is only if you then move DeJounte Murray again over the summer, along with other picks for a star player. If you want to do that, that makes sense, but I don't think DeJounte Murray is the long-term answer. I've talked about this a lot. I just don't trust the shooting or whatever. I'm not going to go into it again in this video. But really, what it is that the Knicks are looking at someone who's an expiring deal, but mostly just trying to get someone so they could make a big trade. It feels like they're really targeting like the 24-25 season of we are contending for a finals that year. We just made the second round in 22-23. We want to get back there in 23-24, which is very possible. After that, we've been in the playoffs for a little bit. We make a move. We show teams we're legit. We get a star player. We contend for the NBA Finals. That is certainly what Leon Rose's master plan is at the moment. And it really is the only direction the Knicks can go. And now that they've traded all their young players and are going to add Grimes to that list of young players traded, now within a year, probably Obi Toppin, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes will all be traded off the Knicks. Those were the 4 Knicks of the future not too long ago. We did a 180. And now the Knicks are going to start contending soon. Hopefully it works out. And if you want to see more Knicks content from Knicks Digest, make sure to subscribe. That 14.5%, they don't miss a video because they get the notifications that we're dropping. We usually drop a few per day. So like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on that post notification bell. Subscribe, listen to me talk Knicks or Darielle talk Knicks while you're working, eating, driving to work, driving home from work, driving to the store, doing whatever. These videos are 8 to 15 minutes long. They're good for a little drive, or if you're doing work, or if you're playing NBA 2K, you're a little bored, you're like, hey, let me listen to some basketball content while I'm playing. Hear those sirens outside? That's the sirens saying subscribe to Knicks Digest or we're going to have a New York emergency. Catch you guys in the next one. Go Knicks.